Hi, welcome to Weston People with me, Becky Condren. I'm joined today by June Bastable. Hello, June.
Hello.
June, I went into Waterstones and I grabbed hold of a copy of the book, Some People.
I do appreciate that.
I absolutely loved it.
Oh, thank you.
But June, you've not been writing for very long, have you?
No, I started writing 7 years ago when I went to Weston College and took a creative writing course. But before that, I always wrote to newspapers, and I love writing letters and emails. Yeah. Really long ones, you know. Yeah. So that just sort of carried on.
So you're a practice writer, but you've not been writing fiction for that long?
No, fiction. This is all fiction. It's 10% observation, the rest of it is imagination. Yeah.
I absolutely love some of the surnames you have.
The surnames. I have a thing about surnames, yeah. Mrs. Catchpole. Yeah. And, I mean, some of them I make up, like Mrs. Sagebrush. I made that one up. They're quite popped into my head.
Eccentrically English, aren't they?
They are very eccentric. Yeah. And cynical.
As are some of the stories, because at the beginning you've got about 4 or 5, maybe more stories that are all set in a village called Quagmire.
Quagmire, yeah. The reason that is, I was going to write a novel called Quagmire. Right. And each chapter was going to be a monologue by a different member of the village. But then I painted myself into a corner because I had to keep going back to the previous ones to fit in with the newer one. And I thought, so what I did, I chopped them up into made them into short stories, standalone short stories, and that's why they're in here.
And they work, because you've actually grouped them together, haven't you? And then it goes
more or less
different.
I think there's a couple of them at the end as well, where Ralph Grimstone raises his head a couple of times.
Yes, he does.
Don't know where that name came from. Poor chap.
So this is all inspired by going to college, Weston College.
I went to Weston College in the autumn of 2004, and my first tutor was Joy Kenwood.
Yes, I've read one of her books.
Yeah, and she said to me, "Show, don't tell," and it was like a light bulb moment, you know, and that's when it started. Yeah. And then a later tutor was Anne Merrin, and they were just so inspirational, and they'd tell you to write a short story set somewhere, and then they'd put a person in it, and then put something else in it, like a flame or a pet. And that's how I got the pet in Purple and Green. Yes. And, Madame Jurita. And also how the nurse who never washes her dress, she smokes. That's
we don't know she's a nurse, though, towards the end, do we? And Madame Jurita, you've got Elaine the Poodle. Yeah, good name for a dog. Yeah.
So, you know, all these writing, they can't teach you how to write. All they can do is give you these exercises which brings out your imagination. Yeah. And it is just marvellous.
But you say imagination and 10% observation. You've got some quite devious and not very nice characters in here. Tell me where the inspiration for those comes from.
Well, you know, some people treat other people quite badly, I find, you know, and but I've just worked on that and made it come to the fore. I mean, most people are really nice, but I have met 1 or 2 in my life that... You know, it's just my dark humour. Yeah. I've always liked satire. In my 20s, it was a satire boom of That Was the Week That Was and Peter Cook and all that, you know, and I just loved that satire.
You do satire well, but I think my favourite, among my favourite stories were Baby's Breath and Death Day, which are an echo as well, which are actually darker than some of the other
stories. Death Day is about the birth of my granddaughter.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I wrote that because when she was born, she seemed to know everything.
The wise eyes of
and then I thought, well, you know, I think babies are born with all the knowledge of I don't believe in reincarnation. That's fiction, you see. Yeah, yeah. But
born with a certain wisdom.
Yes, really. They are, and then they lose it gradually. Yeah. That was just a fantasy of mine, and I made that into a... It started off as a poem first. Like Secretary Bird, that started off as a poem.
Pretty Bird,
no, Secretary Bird. Secretary Bird, that's very cynical. That started off as a poem, because I'm always short of plots. So if I've written a poem, I think, oh, I could write that into a short story.
Do many of your stories come from poems? Because there are a handful of poems actually in the book.
I belong to a poetry group, and I've been writing poetry, well, for longer than I was writing fiction. Because before I went to college and started writing fiction, I used to exchange poems with my sister in Portugal and an old boss of mine in Surrey. And we used to write, we'd set each other themes or words, and we'd write poems. Yeah. And so that went back longer than fiction.
And you've also got a couple of playlets?
Yes, I do write. I've written 4 plays, but they haven't gone anywhere. But I do like writing sketches and then reading them out in the writing group. Yeah. It's always a good laugh, that, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So, do you think you will have any more? I hear you've got a bank of stories.
I have. I've got a lot. I could have made this a lot thicker. Yeah. This book.
I think it's a nice size.
Yeah. So I've got more than enough material because I'm writing. I've just written another short story this week, but it does take me a long time to edit because I like to get it refined.
Editing's key, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yeah. Yeah. Editing.
And I also see that you're on Twitter. Yeah, at June Bastable, and I loved the tweet that you sent to Stephen Fry a couple of weeks ago.
You say it.
It was something along the lines of, "Hi, Stephen, I'm number 2 in the Weston Supermare Waterstone's book chart. You're number 10. Number 10.
Yeah, I know that.
Did he reply?
No, he didn't. No, I didn't expect him to know. And also Jeffrey Archer. Yes. I tweeted him. Yeah. I said, "You're at number 1 and I'm at number 2 and I'm an unknown local author."
2 greats of Weston.
Yeah. I couldn't believe when it was at number 2 for 3 weeks or more. I kept going into the shop and going, still at number 2.
Well, I went in and, as I said, I asked for your book and they knew straight away where it was. So well done on the selling. And I think... For good reasons. It's a brilliant read. I nearly didn't get to sleep last night. I had to put it down.
Did you?
You know, when you just don't want to stop.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
I've still got a couple of short stories to go, so I'm saving those ones up. And one of them is Secretary Bird. I haven't read that one, so
you like that one? Very cynical.
It's been really good to talk to you, June.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. How can we? Where can we look out for you? Is there anywhere we can find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah. And if anybody wants to buy my book, go into Waterstones, and it's in the humour section, the A to Z section, and the Western local section. And it's also on Amazon.
It's on Amazon as well.
Post-free.
Okay. Would you mind if I wrote a review for it?
Oh, I'd love it.
And
especially if you like it.
I love it. You can put it up on Amazon.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Thank you so much. And any profits are going to Western Hospice Care, I forgot to say.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah. Great charity.
I'm not keeping any profits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, a well-known, much appreciated charity in Western Supermare. So well done for that. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Becky. It's been a real pleasure.
It's been lovely to meet you. Really
thank you, folks.
That was Becky Condren and June Bastable on Weston People. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.